What's up? It's me, Yvette, and I'm here with Johnny Chicatelli. Is it Chicatelli or Chicatelli?
It's whichever one. It's, growing up, it was in Youngstown, people always said Chicatelli, and then they shortened that to Chick or Chicky, or, Youngstown, you get a nickname always. Yeah. So Chicatelli, whatever you want.
Well, I mean, if you're cool enough to get a nickname, right? Not everybody got a nickname. Only the cool people got the nickname. You'll know that if you listen to Crooked City, which you should. I think everyone at this time should have to listen to Crooked City. It's so good. We are just starting to dive into the whole entire story, which there's so much to go into, so much room for activities. So,
did we just become best friends?
Yeah, we did become friends, whether or not you liked it or not. I told you I wanted to start with Jim Traficant. I think that since Crooked City starts, with the tractor accident, he's a great place to start. What's the first word that comes to your mind when I say Jim Traficant?
Jimbo. That was, if you're from the Valley, the Mahoning Valley, he was Jimbo. He was our guy. He was our congressman, our sheriff, our quarterback. He was all of those things. And he was, some people would say he was our crook. He was our guy, so Jimbo. I think that's the Valley's embracement of Jim.
Yes. And like you said, that's what I think that people love, because most people will say, yeah, he was crooked.
Yeah, but he was from Youngstown. He was a politician in Youngstown, yes. So it goes, hand in glove, right? Comes with the territory, right? You couldn't survive in the era that he did as sheriff and then eventually congressman. That was kind of just the way it worked in Youngstown. And he had a great line when he was on trial, right, in the 80s for taking the mob money as the sheriff. He was on trial, and he was trying to explain to, I think, a reporter about Youngstown, and he said, it takes, and I'm paraphrasing here because I don't remember the exact quote, but it was typical Traficant. It was great. He said, it takes an interesting kind of animal to prowl the jungle that is Youngstown, because Youngstown was a jungle in that era. You had different rival mob factions, corruption for decades. So, yeah, he was an interesting animal, definitely.
Junkyard bulldog.
His supporters stuck with him like a junkyard bulldog in the face of a hurricane.
Like you said, you have to stick with him like that. I made this on my Cricut yesterday. An homage to Jim Traficant, which I sadly never got to meet in person. That I remember. There might have been times where I was younger where he might have spoken that I just don't remember.
He came he came to Fitch High School a lot, and that's where I went. He came there, and he would talk about rail against drugs and all those things. That was his big message. Because if you remember, before he was even sheriff, he had a drug clinic that he started in Youngstown to kind of get people off smack and all that stuff.
Yes, and actually, I think I read it was listened to in Crooked City that he went to talk at Fitch High School, and he was supposed to talk about drugs, and instead of the whole auditorium got filled with not only students but the parents of the students, because he was so intriguing, and people wanted to hear what he said, and they were grips at that point. Just showed his impact.
Oh, absolutely. Cult of personality. He had the personality. And if you watch, you listen to Crooked City, we draw the comparisons, obviously, to Donald Trump, right? And how the cult of personality. Believe or feel however you want to feel about him. I don't get into the politics on that side, right? It's every politician's a crooked politician, in my opinion. All of them. Yeah. So they're equally crooked. But believe or feel how you want to feel about him, but the similarities cannot be denied. Right. Whether the things he says, the attitudes. The only difference I saw between Traficant and Trump was Traficant was legitimately a working class guy. He's the son of a truck driver, whereas Donald Trump was the son of a multimillionaire, right? So one guy was born with a silver spoon, the other guy was born with the grit, the Youngstown grit, and he was real. Yeah. Traficant was real. So, that's the only real difference I see in the two. But you could definitely tell Donald Trump studied the Jim Traficant playbook. That's obvious.
Oh, 100%. Both were charismatic enough to be who they are and still be so likable. That takes a certain type of person to be that way. I think that's funny, like that comparison, and I hate politics, so yeah, we don't, but you're right. I mean, you cannot not compare like the personalities, the outrageousness, the hair. I mean, just that, and
there's a lot.
Yeah.
I was just saying that the other day, you know, I saw Trump on TV, and I just thought to myself, you know, why not get a different haircut, man?
Yeah.
You can afford a good haircut. Just get a good haircut, but it works for them. Whatever, man. They do what they do. And Jimbo was the same way. You know, he was his wife was a hairdresser, and he would always make jokes about it. I think that was kind of made him a little more relatable. And so, you know, it was definitely something where he was able to say, you know, look at this. I do my hair with a weed whacker. He would always say that, get a cheap laugh, you know, that kind of thing. And you know, had the bell bottom. You know, you got the bell bottoms.
I wear my bell bottom pants today. Oh my God! Like, I could just go off for like an hour now just talking about the trial, because I think it's absolutely hilarious. Like that whole entire trial, like. Me, for the first time, listening to everything, you know, now I know, you know, in hindsight, he gets acquitted, okay? He defends himself. He decides, a week or a little bit before I'm going to go at this alone. He fires his lawyer, and the guy comes freaking prepared. I mean, he comes in, like, it's like almost like a script. It couldn't be more perfect, like how he goes. And,
you know, it wasn't as perfect, right? So he did stumble. He did have a lot of times where he did things kind of not to, you know, to the rules of the court, but by all accounts, the judge let him skate on a lot of that. So, you know, the reason he was able to get away with some things is because the judge gave him a lot more leeway than maybe, you know, a normal person would have gotten.
Is that Judge Aldridge?
Yeah. So,
and is she involved in, do you think? Because that's what I was thinking. I'm like, Judge Aldridge, interesting.
Well, a judge, you know, you never know. Judges in this area, they go back with the politicians and the lawyers and all of them.
No, I don't believe it. I do not believe it.
Right.
We'll have to talk about this on another day, because like I said, you guys aren't going anywhere. No one's going anywhere. The way he was able to play onto the jury by making sure, enabling there was 4 people from Youngstown on the jury. The whole David and Goliath thing, that it makes sense to me. I just think of myself, you know, I'm from Youngstown. I'm sitting on a jury. I'm listening to, like they said, like a prosecutions that's coming off pompous, that's dressed a certain way, when, you know, you're not trying to appeal to that type of audience. Like, I think he knew who his audience was. Of
course. You know? When he won, you know, you could say he won that trial the moment that he got those jurors from Youngstown. You know, because he only needed one juror to get a hung jury. I mean, he actually ended up getting acquitted, which was even, you know, more of a victory for him. But yeah, absolutely, he came in his old tattered kind of jacket with holes in it, you know, and his cowboy boots and his bell bottoms, and he did not look the part. He looked exactly the opposite of these of Jigger, which was the prosecutor for the feds, and he just had the attitude. And we go back to Trump real quick. You know, Trump's now on trial for all these different trials, and I always thought, well, if he was going to go the full Traficant, right? If he was going to take the full playbook, he'd defend himself.
Yes.
And he probably should have, to be honest, because that's the proven playbook. But, you know, maybe he just didn't have the balls for it, because he got a lawyer now. So all those Rudy Giuliani guys and all that. But I thought if he really wanted to win that stuff, he would have went the full Traficant and defended himself. But
100%, hands down, he comes in there with the hair by himself, talks to the jury.
He only needed one juror, right?
That's all you need.
Yeah. So. Yeah. But anyways, thanks for having me on here.
Yeah.
We'll do more of these. If you're watching us right now on Yvette's channel, definitely check it out, give it a like and a subscribe, and find us as well. We have one called Youngstown Mob Talk. We have my partner Jimmy Naples and I. We do a lot of a discussion of the mob. We did breakdowns of Crooked City. I was a producer on that show. We do as much as we can. We're doing all kinds of Youngstown Mob content, so check us out. That's on YouTube, Youngstown Mob Talk. We're also out there on gosh, Apple, Spotify, iHeart, anywhere you get amazing podcasts. So check out, Youngstown Mob Talk or the Vice Squad or any of our other stuff. And you're going to see Yvette, too, as part of Youngstown Mob Talk in the future. So definitely check that out.
Yeah, if you liked which you guys have liked anything that I've been doing, then you have to watch this because that's where I've gotten everything from. It is absolutely freaking amazing. It'll blow your mind. Again, that is Amazing Podcast Company. The Youngstown Mob group on Facebook. I love that group. Joined it. Like there's so much out there. That's what I'm happy to tell you guys that there is other things out there. If you're interested in this, to reach. And there's something coming out that's going to be freaking amazing. An app where you can go and visit some of these spots. And I was telling you earlier, I went to the Sandy Naples house and keep watching, watch along, watch everything, because the more you know, I think, then you go and visit this place, it means more.
Yeah.
Because you're just like...
These buildings are still standing a lot.
I felt the energy there. I was like, oh my God. It was so weird. You can actually feel it. But anyways, okay, that's all I have for you guys. Thank you so much, and keep it classy. Oh my God.